Thank you. Let's go live to our national security panel. Joining me, former NSC Chief of Staff in the first Trump administration, former CIA analyst as well, and senior fellow now at the America First Policy Institute, Fred Fleitz. Alongside him, U.S. Navy captain, former Trump White House official, and former spokesperson at the Pentagon, Morgan Murphy. Good to see you both.
Great to be with you, Ed.
Morgan, your sense of the president, he saw the cost of war up close. He had the guts to go there to Dover today and look these families in the eye. He understands the sacrifice. What do you think about the mission in the days ahead, particularly at this important pivot point?
Well, first I want to say, in my 26 years in the Navy, I've passed out 298 American flags to next of kin. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. And, hearing the president speak how difficult it is for him is just truly moving. He is a president who cares about the military and every life. And I think what this says for the war and what it says for his resolve to end this war is he's laid out a very clear message to the Iranians. If you attack a ship, we're going to hit something that's very important to you, power plant, civilian infrastructure, a bridge, and things that are very difficult to rebuild. And that's the president really speaking plainly as he does best. We've kind of taken it for granted because Trump has been in our life since 2015. But he reoriented how politicians speak. He reoriented how the State Department legalese is broadcast to the American people. This president just says it plainly, and it's effective.
Yeah, well, speaking of saying it plainly, Fred, he was on Truth Social today, as you know, saying for every ship shot by the Iranians in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will destroy one bridge or power plant. Your reaction to him now saying, look, he's ready to go after civilian infrastructure, which he's held back on. Why would that be important moving forward in sort of this next phase of the conflict?
The Iranians struck this memorandum of understanding, which had enormous American concessions. I was nervous about it, but I thought it was the right thing to do. And then they violated it. I mean, they basically disrespected our country. They disrespected President Trump. They're continuing to do that. And Trump is sending a powerful message that you have to honor your word. And if you don't, there will be consequences. And since the Iranians have not responded appropriately with the 11 days of airstrikes, Trump is up at the ante.
He certainly is. And that may include Pickaxe Mountain as well. What are your thoughts on that? Because, Morgan, this is something where we believe, according to Israeli intelligence, and the president has pretty much confirmed this in public, Morgan, that the Iranians moved some nuclear materials to this mountain. How complicated a mission might that be? The president said he thinks we're going to hit it and hit it hard in the next few days. That was a day or so ago. How complicated might that mission be? And what kind of fallout might there be if we hit the nuclear materials?
Well, this is an incredibly complicated operation. It's not like we're attacking Afghanistan, which essentially didn't have an air force to speak of. This is something that requires a whole of effort from our government, from our intelligence services, as my former colleague Fred pointed out, to the Department of War. And so it's not an easy solution to anything that we've dealt with Iran. But this president is the first to really deal with the head of the snake. If you think back 49 years, American presidents have been troubled by Iran. They've all had this problem set, but none have addressed it straight on like Donald Trump is doing. And that's the surest way to victory, is to take the problem in hand and deal with it. And he is.
No doubt about it. Fred, what do you make of just a few moments ago, it was official that the U.S. has signed a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia to allow them to enrich uranium for a civilian nuclear program. There are critics of this saying, yeah, they start out as civilian. This could lead to a nuclear arms race in the Mideast. I guess we've already had one, but that it might make it worse at a time that we've got this conflict. What do you make of it? Is it a smart move by the administration, and why?
This is a deal that will allow Saudi Arabia to enrich uranium to make nuclear fuel for power stations, for nuclear power stations. And at a time when Russia, China, France, the U.S., UK, the Netherlands, Japan, Argentina, Brazil, they're all enriching uranium, but Saudi Arabia cannot. and our friends in South Korea cannot. We're trying to let them do that. We're evolving. We're updating our approach to peaceful nuclear technology, and we're trusting our allies with this technology. I think it's the right way to go. It's going to be a big win for the United States since we will be constructing these facilities and monitoring them, but also at a time when Iran is illegally enriching uranium in the region. I think this move is long overdue.
There you go. Morgan, I want to ask you about the money that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, was pushing for yesterday. Short time ago, the U.S. House at least passed some of this money. And let's see, there's, I think he talked about $37.5 billion that's already been spent on the war. This package has about $60 billion more for the Pentagon. As you know, they always want more money. Here's Hegseth yesterday pushing for the money and getting into some fireworks there with the left. Watch.
Do you have a new estimate about what the war has cost us so far in this, the fifth month of the first year of this war in Iran?
Senator, the estimate we have as of today is $37.5 billion.
And is the current activity, which we've been told about, the exchange of fire back and forth in Iran, an indication that that number is going to go up in the months ahead?
Some of that number captures additional O&M, mill pay, and other that would be anticipated through the fiscal year. So some of that anticipates what costs would be going out in the future as well.
All right, Morgan, what's your sense about the money? Because it's going to have a harder climb, I suspect, just like everything else in the Senate, where the Republicans have a smaller margin. And you've got pretty much all the Democrats, maybe other than Fetterman, are likely to oppose.
Well, isn't it remarkable to see Democrats suddenly concerned about Pentagon spending? They didn't seem that concerned in the Biden administration when they left behind $87 billion worth of equipment in Afghanistan for the Taliban, now the best armed folks in the region. But now they're concerned, and it's absolutely shameful because the bill that they are holding up, the National Defense Authorization Act, which is passed every year for more than 61 years, they're holding it up. It's not this year's money. It's next year's money, but they're holding up pay for our 50,000 troops that got their lives on the line right now in the Middle East. They're holding up pay, they're holding up raises, and I frankly think that's just shameful and un-American.
Fred, do you think the money's going to get through? I mean, you know, the left wants to push back. There's some rhino Republicans in the Senate who are a little squishy about it. What's your sense? Because I think Morgan makes a great point. I mean, we've got troops in harm's way right now.
First of all, I'm so impressed by my friend Morgan Murphy. I haven't been on with him before. Thank you for having me on with him. Good. I think it's going to get through. We got through the House. I think that was the bigger hurdle because the margin is so small and the House Republicans are so divided in different ways. I think we have enough Republicans in the Senate to get this through using reconciliation. I don't think the SAVE Act is going to make it as part of this deal, which means it will go back to the House without it. That's going to cause some consternation. But in the end, I think this is going to pass.
All right. I agree with you about Morgan. Morgan Murphy on the briefing for the first time. We'll have you back soon. Fred Fleitz is a veteran now, and we always have him on, and we love him. Gentlemen, thank you. Some important insights tonight.